I know there's a couple questions in the chat about trans inclusion in sport, and I would love to just talk about that real quick because, you know, I think as again you heard it in kind of the first section of our talk, like we're seeing more anti-LGBTQ legislation introduced than in any other time in our nation's history, and a significant subsection of those bills are targeting trans youth participation in sport. And so I think it's just important to say a few things. I mean, one, basically the kids who could benefit from sport the most are now given the least access, and that's our trans youth. You know, as Ashlyn mentioned, the sort of negative health outcomes, or the sort of CDC risky behavior studies that have been done around drug and alcohol use, suicide ideation, experiences of bullying and harassment. Trans youth are certainly more at risk or more susceptible to so many of those negative experiences. When it comes to like participation, I think it's important just to point out that there's a lot of myths about testosterone's impact on competitive excellence. The human body is complex, and not everybody's body produces the same amount of testosterone. Not everybody's body has the same androgen sensitivities, right? So for instance, that's why a person might have a lot of body hair but no muscles, or a lot of muscles but no body hair. The way in which the human body responds to testosterone is different from person to person to person. Also, all sports are not the same. So, you know, I have a great body for wrestling. I make a pretty horrible runner. I have slow legs, and so the point that I make is what makes an athlete exceptional in one sport might make them not exceptional in another. So then when we look at, I guess, trans athlete participation, I think that what we're seeing is a shift of what we are calling elite sports to a younger and younger and younger demographic, right? Basically, you're you know, at a certain point, sport should be about participation. It should be about everything that we've been talking over the last hour about. And you know, it's funny, these policies are always done under the auspices of fairness and safety for women and girls in sport. And I want to make it really clear that if we were actually being genuine about supporting women and girls in sport, we would be having more scholarships, more women in leadership positions. There are so many ways in which women and girls are underfunded, under-resourced, and underrepresented throughout all of athletics. And targeting trans girls in sports is not the way to create equity. It's not the way that any problems are solved. It only furthers a history of policing of women's bodies. Because once these bills are passed, if you have a young daughter and the opposing team thinks that she looks too masculine, her hair is cut too short, her gender can be questioned. So it's a very slippery slope that polices the bodies of women and girls in really problematic ways, when all we should be talking about is letting kids be on a team and find that solidarity, have that teamwork. So I want to say it because I think, you know, a lot of people don't think they know somebody who's trans. So it's very easy to not get educated, to not talk about it. And that silence is causing trans kids to be denied access to sport in unprecedented numbers across the country. And I think we owe it to our trans youth to stand up and defend and protect their ability to access sport.